Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV. I've got something in my eye which is not ideal to start this filming, but welcome back to another Redmond Roundup. Today we're going to be talking about the Liverpool versus Arsenal game, and I also want to touch on Arsenal as a prospect at the moment, because let's be honest, they're just very serious, and there's a lot of debates about like, oh well, is it just the typical Arsenal of a team that gets to January and the second or first and they're there and thereabouts for competing for the league, and then they drop off and tail towards the end. And I'm going to discuss why I disagree with that notion that it's not just the same old Arsenal, but I also want to talk about Liverpool and the chances that we have of winning this game of football or getting anything out of it, because as we're currently of recording this video, 11 points behind Arsenal in first place. It goes to show that there is a gulf in quality and a gulf in consistency between the two sides at the moment. So definitely a different prospect to previous years. But let me know your thoughts, your lineup predictions, score predictions, and what you think about Arsenal on how serious we should be taking this game. Now, obviously we should be taking the game very serious, whether it's Arsenal or Cheltenham or friggin', I don't know, Tranmere Rovers. We've got to be winning games of football off the back of the Ajax game, Rangers game. We were hoping to build consistency. We failed to do that against Bournemouth. We failed to do that against Ajax. Now that we've just got that win against Rangers, can we now build that consistency? Because I thought everyone had a much better game. Salah had a better game against Rangers. Nunes had a better game against Rangers. And I thought that Nunes' chances were still straight at the goalkeeper, not too threatening, but it was something there to where it's like, okay, at least he was getting chances in that game. But defensively, Rangers are a lot worse than what Arsenal are at the moment. So it's how important and how much we actually need to win this game, because it's not just based on the fact that we've been in bad form. If you win this game of football, you're going up against the prospect of an Arsenal team to where that's good for confidence going forward. It really, really is. And when you think about the confidence aspect, it's something we're lacking entirely. So if we can go with our best 11 and just get a result, obviously the performance is ideal. If you can perform well, then even more confidence is put into my blood vessels, because that means, okay, well, we played well in that game against a very good Arsenal team, then maybe going forward we can do the same. And with the fact that even though Arsenal are top, I'd still argue it's an easier game than what Manchester City will be. I still think that you don't get, regardless what happens in the City game, it doesn't mean as much unless you get the full 3 points in this one. So forget the title race and forget top four. Well, let's not forget top four, but forget the title race, because even though we're way behind Arsenal, the objective, if we win this game, isn't to then go on and kick on for the league title. The objective is, okay, that's a huge win to us getting in those Champions League spaces to then generate the Champions League revenue for next season, so we can then make the necessary adjustments that I think we all collectively agree as a fan base this current squad needs. So the biggest questions that you've got to ask is Arsenal's attack. So Gabriel Jesus, Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Gabriel Martinelli, all these players who can cause our defence with the form that we've been immense problems. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the thought of him coming up against any of those wingers is a nightmare. The thought of Virgil van Dijk not stepping in on Gabriel Jesus, I think Jesus could give this version of Virgil van Dijk a real run for his money. And then even the build-up play in the midfield, I think Thomas Partey's being a lot more of an ever-present stay in that midfield to where he's looking a lot more dominant. And then you've got Granit Xhaka, who's been playing in the number 8 role at a great level. And the only thing I've seen that can cause them issues is someone like Thiago, if he plays, Elliot, if he gets given a chance. But I think in the short term, we're going to be going with the Henderson, Thiago and Fabinho role, just to build that balance within our midfield. And that midfield is more than certainly capable of getting a result against Arsenal. It just makes you think, will we have the legs? Will we have the energy? Will we have that motivation to go out and put on a top-class performance, that high intensity? Are we capable of it? I don't know. And when I talk about Arsenal, I kind of look at them what we was when we first started. It took a while to get rid of all the deadwood that we had, and we had a lot of it. We had, Lucas Leivers, Martin Skrtels, Mamadou Sakho's, Kolo Torres. We had loads of players when Klopp first came in that just weren't ever going to be good enough to compete for league titles and whatnot. I think Arsenal have now gone through that similar transition, and this is the first season that we're seeing them become that potential title contender. And I don't think you can just compare them to the Arsenal of old, and that's why I think this is a significantly more tough game than what we've had previously. However, I still think Klopp is significantly better than Mikel Arteta, and I think on a one-on-one, like on a one-match basis, I think that Klopp can certainly get the best of Arteta. I think Trent can get the best of their wingers. I think Virg can dominate Gabriel Jesus. I think Henderson, Thiago and Fabinho can run all over their midfield. And I also think we can break down Saliba and Gabriel, even though they're both very sound centre-backs and have had, especially Saliba, really, really good seasons. So the thing there is that there's still holes in the Arsenal team. They've still shown that they haven't put up perfect performances this season, but Liverpool haven't shown that we can capitalise on it. So what I think is going to go down in this game is a lot more competitive game than what Arsenal fans are expecting. Because even though you're a lot better, let's be honest, Arsenal fans are always confident when they play Liverpool. Last season, I had every Arsenal fan under the sun saying, Aaron Ramsdale's going to stop everyone from scoring, and then Jota just goes and absolutely puts him on his arse. And it's even the same story at Anfield, where it's like, going into the game, it's at Anfield, but this time it really feels different, and then 4-0 later, you're in a position where you're just talking about Arteta fuming over Jurgen Klopp. So there's signs there that Arteta can get over emotional, he can overthink certain decisions, kind of like Jurgen Klopp, and it really just, I think what determines this game is who scores first. If Arsenal score first, I think the best Liverpool are getting is a draw, whereas I think if we score first, I think that significantly increases the chances of us winning and possibly even going and getting 1, 2, 3 goals, because I think I've seen from Gabriel and Saliba, two very young centre-backs that, an example, Manchester United, that Arteta made some decisions in that game that really went against the defence and really went against to what ended up being a decent scoreline for Manchester United. I think something similar can happen. I think we've got more quality than what Manchester United have as well. They were just in better form. So if we do turn up at our top level, don't be surprised to see Liverpool score 2, 3 goals. And I do think Jota's, even Nunes, I think Nunes can give Aaron Ramsdale a real run for his money. He just needs to be a lot more precise when it comes to his finishing, because I thought in the Rangers game, he was just overexerting himself, hitting it right at the keeper, trying to rush the chance. Don't rush the chance, take your time, and them goals will come. And then we'll start to see the 10, 15 goals that Nunes needs to warrant a first team place in this team, because no one should just be getting game time based on the fact he's a new signing and we haven't been firing on all cylinders. I still think Firmino and Jota are above him in the pecking order. But that leads me to the lineup prediction and then the score prediction. So in goal, you've got to go with the best player of the season in Alisson Becker. Back four, Robertson is still injured, I believe. Therefore, I'm more than happy to go with Kostas Tsimikas, the Greek Scouser, the amazing man, the gorgeous fella, Darwin Núñez, B-Tech, whatever you want to call him. I am more than sound with him playing, and I thought he had a good game against Rangers. Right back, going with Trent. I'm not willing. I've recommended dropping him for a game here and there. Rangers I thought was a good chance to give him a rest and build back into it for this one. But in a big game like Arsenal, you need the creativity of Trent, and hopefully with all the criticism that he's been getting on his concentration, not running back, their adjustments that he's going to make for this game. Centre-backs, Konate is back and available, people. I want to know in the comments down below, would you go with Konate? Interesting topic of conversation, as last season whenever he played, really good. And I also think stylistically in this one, he's quicker than Joel Matip, he's more physical than Joel Matip, and as we're coming up against a quick, silky, agile, like one of those attacks where Gabriel Jesus can physically cause people problems, he could easily get in behind Joel Matip. Therefore, would Konate be the better option? I am not opposed to it, and I love Joel Matip, but I also agree with the notion that you can be selective on what players you choose for certain games. I don't think Fabinho should just play week in, week out, for instance, just because he's Fabinho. If there's a game where you need a more offensive midfield, don't play Fabinho, because he's not going to bring that offensive side to the game and the build-up play and whatnot. So with that in mind, I think Matip would be a good option off the bench if we need to improve the build-up play. But starting the game, I would go with Konate, but that's a bold move, and I think to get bold results, you need to make those bold moves. So my back five is Alisson in goal, Tsimikas, Trent, Van Dijk and Konate. Midfield going forward, Fabinho, Thiago, two obvious ones, and then I'm going to go with Henderson. I would go with Harvey Elliott personally, but I thought Henderson had an immense game against Rangers. I think it's something to build on. I think we need that cover for Trent. So as much creativity as Harvey Elliott brings, and this decision isn't based off his performances, but I can see him struggling the physical side of the game against the likes of Partey and Granit Xhaka, whereas I think Henderson just copes more under that type of pressure, and it allows Trent to go more forward, therefore we're getting that creativity, therefore Henderson can drop into that right-back role when Trent does bomb forward, and it's about not getting overrun in the midfield, and starting Harvey or starting Fabio Carvalho, I think increases the chances of getting beat in the midfield, which has been our main problem so far. And then going into the attack, you've got to go with Salah, you've got to go with Luis Diaz, and then this is the question, do you go with Bobby, do you go with Jota, or do you go with Núñez? I can see him going with Núñez, because I think there was a lot better signs in the Rangers game for Núñez, but from a personal standpoint, a lot of people seem to think I hate Darwin Núñez. I really don't. I just think to get the best out of Darwin Núñez, you need to take that slow approach. Build him into the games, let him come off the bench, and bear in mind, people, his best track record in his short Liverpool career so far has been off the bench. So he scored goals against what was the team? He scored goals against Fulham when he came off the bench. He scored against City in the Community Shield when he came off the bench. Whereas Firmino has been scoring goals when he's starting. Jota, in the 2 games that I've seen at Rangers and Ajax, much better. And again, I'm talking about this 4-3-3. We could actually stick to the 4-2-3-1, which is something that's just popped into my head. So what you could actually do instead of just going with Núñez, Jota or Firmino, you could maybe go with Núñez and Jota. But I don't know if Klopp's going to want to make that same change against a more compact Arsenal team. Against the Rangers team than what he would against this Arsenal team, which is a lot better than Rangers. So I think he's going to stick with 4-3-3, still be a little bit more advanced, but hopefully there's still a slight tactical tweak, which I think we're trying to evolve over time. So final lineup prediction: Alisson in goal, Tsimikas, Trent, Kanate, Verge, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago. I'm going to go with Núñez, Salah and Diaz. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw either Thiago or Fabinho moved out and then you make that 4-2-3-1 type formation like the Rangers game. But I don't know. I just don't want to be overrun in the midfield, so I'm trying to think this for the most logical point of view. Let me know your lineup predictions in the comments down below. It all really depends how we set out for this game. However, I'm going to go with a Liverpool win, people. No reason whatsoever. Not based on recent form. I'm just going based off the idea that I think we're going to improve. I do think we're going to improve, and I do think our best day and Arsenal's best day, even as good as Arsenal are right now, we beat them every single time. It's just, will that best day come? Let's see. So I'm going to go with 2-0, 3-1. I'm going to go with 3-1. I'm going to be ballsy. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below as well. But anyway, that's been today's Redmond Roundup. There's another one out on Trent Alexander-Arnold if you want to go and check that out. Earlier, I was talking about how I think there is definitely an agenda against Trent. So if you do disagree, go over to that video, go and leave a comment, say why you disagree, call me delusional, say I know nothing about football, and I'm more than happy to discuss. Anyway, people, thank you for watching this Redmond Roundup. And you know what, mate? I will see you all in a bizzle. Peace.
Really the 4th best manager in the Premier League? Is he really that?
I feel so.
I don't.
Who's better?
It's tricky, isn't it? Rob, what needs to happen this year for Arteta to be cemented 4th? Like, do you need to qualify for the European
I think he
Cup?
needs to get into the top 4.
And what happens if you don't?
I think serious questions have to be asked. I feel now with the squad, got to get us into the top 4.
If you don't get top 4 for whatever reason this season, and I do think you will get top 4, but if you don't, is that a sackable offence? Because that would be 2 seasons on the trot you will have bottled.
I think if you get. You're not about bottling.
Yeah. You did.
Tottenham fan telling me about.
I know.
You're bottling it.
But you did bottle the end of last season.
I mean,
you did.
Jesus
you
Christ,
did.
what's the world come to?
Well, you did bottle it at the end of last season.
I love you, Abby, but
don't
you know what I mean? A Tottenham fan telling me about
the world come to.
Listen, he's under pressure to get top 4. We missed out on a point by a point last season. Well, to be fair, at the start of the season, I thought we had no chance of getting top 4. But this season, I'm looking at it and think we do have a good chance of getting it. Chelsea, new manager, Man United in transition as well.
I still think that Spurs will finish above Arsenal, but I do think both of us will end up in the top 4.